Okay, little introduction on what we're doing here today. We are going to be making a tier list of a very good, underrated band from Washington called Lake. And I think we should start the tier list off with their first album. Romero, what do you think about Lake's first album?
Lake's first album. Okay, first album
Okay,
is Lake.
you're literally so stupid.
Okay, let's see. We have Without the Motion, Widower. That's a really good song. Mountain, also a really good song. Happy Man, really good. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a really good album, but there are some songs that drag it down. So, yeah, I think Lake's problem with this album is LMJ. LMJ is a garbage song. Moving Roads, it's garbage. Wedding Days, garbage.
No, Wedding Days.
Wedding Days is garbage.
Days.
Wedding Days is garbage.
Wedding Days is so good. I might actually play it at my own wedding. All right.
Wedding Days is not that good. It is pretty bad.
You have no sense of imagination when it comes to Wedding Days. There's an actual. I can see the wedding going on in this song. Yeah. You
Okay.
know what you were talking about, and you're stupid.
Okay, what's your ranking? What's your ranking for Lake's first album?
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a. Man, I really don't want to bring down every other album. This is already like such a good one. I give it. Oh my gosh, I can't decide. You know what? S tier. It's an S tier.
I'm gonna put it in A tier because I think it's solidly B tier. But you think it's S tier, so let's compromise with A tier. It's not that good, but it's pretty good.
Maybe it's a high A tier. You know what?
Okay,
Maybe keep it at
I will
high
say, Without Devotion puts it already pretty high.
Yes.
Widower, Without Devotion, Helicopter, I Look Up to You, Happy Man, all bring it up. And a little personal story about this album is Ice Cream was the first Lake song that I listened to, and I just stared up at the ceiling and just listened to it. And it takes a very certain kind of song to do that.
It's magical.
Okay,
Well, that's my choice. I'm gonna leave it at high A tier.
okay. I'm just gonna bring up all of the albums according to Wikipedia in their order, and we're just gonna rank them by order. So let's go with Cassette. Cassette is a really hard one because it's not available on Spotify, and it's not really available on YouTube that easily.
Cassette?
Cassette.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard it before. This is gonna be all you. It's gonna be all your ranking.
Cassette's a really good one. Cassette is really good. It's only available on Bandcamp, and I feel like that brings it down a little. But it does have.
So maybe you shouldn't judge it by its availability.
No,
but
I'm
by
going
its
to.
quality.
I'm gonna rank it like all around.
Okay.
So Higher Than Mary. It has Higher Than Mary, and I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know you're a big fan of
Higher Than Mary. I want to say that goes above the first album, Lake. But oh man, Higher Than Mary. It's actually one of my favorite songs by Lake. In case anyone didn't know. But compared to the first album, I think it surpasses it. I think Higher Than Mary is going to be my first S tier. It might be a low S tier because compared to the quality of everything else, I think it's I'm gonna keep it at a low S tier.
I feel the same way because it has recognized River, Emotionally, Fantasy, and Reality, Higher Than Mary, You Are Alone, but it's really held back by Lindy and Kite. Lindy and Kite are just not good songs. It's a really good album that gets drugged down by like 2 songs, so I'm gonna say this is. I'll go for S tier, but I think we should reconsider at the end. We should look at the end and reconsider that.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Next is Oh, the Places We'll Go. I think this is I think this is pretty uncontroversially a like a mid tier album. Would you say that's like pretty uncontroversial?
Maybe, yeah. I only have three songs like that, which is Blue Ocean Blue, Bad Dream, and On the Swing. And I don't really remember those songs off the top of my head. I might have to give them a listen. But I think this might be a high C tier.
Yeah. For me, this is a good album. Like no doubt, this is a good album, but it's not a memorable album. It's not like, and this is the first album we've looked at where I've removed one of the songs from my playlists. Counting, I used to be a really big fan of it, but you get so bored of it over time. The standout like accomplishment for this album though, I think, is Deadbeat. Deadbeat and On the Swing are pretty good. And Blue Ocean Blue is fire, but I don't think it can carry the album. So I'm gonna put this at a solid C tier. Is that would you agree with that, Romeo?
Yeah, I'm going for a high C tier.
And that moves on pretty well into Let's Build a Roof. And I don't know about you, but I think I've been thinking of this one since we started. Best album. Best album. Breathing,
Okay.
Madagascar, Gravel. Sing 99 is not that good. Acorn, The Roof Caves In, Winking Sign, Remote Control Cars. This is amazing.
You're talking about Let's Build a Roof?
Yes, Let's Build a Roof.
Oh my gosh, this is the best album. This is the album I have the most songs liked in. Let me just say the best songs, my personal best songs in this album is gonna be, well, number one is The Roof Caves In.
Okay, yes. The Roof Caves In is a beautiful song.
Yes, and number two is Madagascar, and I guess number three would be I don't know, Sing 99 and 90. I know you don't like that one, but I
It's
really
just
like
not
it.
that good. I think it drags down it drags down the album, but it's still so good that it stays in S tier. I'm saying this is solid S tier.
Yes, and a little fun fact: The Roof Caves In is the first Lake song that I listened to, and I was just like in school, and I had like a Spotify shuffle going on, and like add songs, and then there was just The Roof Caves In. I listened to it, and I'm like, dude, this is the greatest song of all time.
Are you sure this is the first Lake song you've listened to? Let me ask you. Have you ever watched Adventure Time?
Oh, okay. That I didn't know that was a Lake song until I listened to Let's Build a Roof.
Yeah, I can't play it for very long because of copyright issues. But
Yeah, Christmas Island. I don't believe Adventure Time gave Lake the recognition that like it deserved, but because everybody knows Christmas Island. If they don't know if that's what the song is called, that's what it's called, and it's by Lake. Just so everyone knows.
yeah. So what I'm gonna say is, this is an amazing album, and I think everybody should listen to it. It is one of the best albums I'd ever listened to.
Yes, hands down, top S tier Lake album. Let's go to the Roof.
Just the
Oh
openings.
my gosh! Ha!
These
It is
openings
such a
are so
good
fire.
song.
And that goes right into Giving and Receiving, which I think is another amazing, great rated album.
Yes.
Giving and Receiving has Roger Miller, has One Small Step, Within Without, The Stars, and it has an interlude and an intro, which is something that Lake is not a big thing where they do a lot of intermissions and intros. I think this is actually their longest album. And I think these intros and intermissions really bring it up. And
Yes.
the fact that it ends with Distant Stars is such a perfect ending song for this album. And it's much more of a concept album than all of the rest, because Let's Build a Roof has a lot of concept album elements, but I feel like this one is a little bit more put together because it's more of a later album.
Yeah, and I'll actually have to give Giving and Receiving another listen because it was just one night. I was listening to all the songs of like not really paying attention to what the names were, what album it came from. But I have to listen to Distant Stars in my own time. But I have 5 songs from Giving and Receiving liked, which is Roger Miller, With and Without, Giving and Receiving, Mother Nature's Promise, and Interlude.
Yeah, I would say there's not a bad song on this album. I'd say it has some weak songs. Efforts and Stumble Around are pretty weak, but I feel like this is the only album where it is nothing but just knocking it out of the park. It is amazing.
Anyway,
So, I don't want to keep putting things on S tier, but I think this is easy S tier.
yes, I think it's above Higher Than Mary. Personally, I hate to give Higher Than Mary that, but it's gotta be above Higher Than Mary and below Let's Build a Roof.
Okay, I agree with that. Because Let's Build a Roof is just such an amazing album.
Yes.
So, next is Circular Doorway, which is, I would say, a high middle. It's like, it's an A or B tier. Just my feeling, you know?
Right. I actually have to give more of these songs a listen in my own time because what I see here is I only have 2 songs like from Circular Doorway, but I'm pretty sure there's more that once I listen to, I'll like, oh, this is amazing. But I have Circular Doorway and No Wonder I.
Yeah. So, we're gonna write No Wonder I separately because of the Adventure Time connection, and the fact that it's a single. But I would say this is an album that is really good. It's a great album, but I feel like it's not as Lake as the rest of the albums. It doesn't have that distinct Lake, like, indie Washington feel as a lot of the other albums. And I feel like that's something that it's a late stage Lake problem where the farther on you go through the albums, you lose more of that Lake feeling. And in some albums it works, like The World Is Real. But with this one, I think it struggles a lot. This is the first one where it's really leaving that core Lake territory.
Right, and I think I remember whenever I was listening to this album, I had a lot of trouble, just like staying engaged. I think I was actually getting bored while listening to Circular Doorway.
Yeah, and I think there are some standout, amazing songs in this album, like Positive Warning, Torpedoes, Alone, and I think the rest are pretty good, but they struggle a lot with the repetitiveness of some of Lake's songs.
Right. So if I were to give this a position in the tier list, I think it would be high B.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Is a B tier. I'd say this is a solid B tier.
Yes.
Okay, we're going on to The World Is Real. It's again one of the newer albums from Lake, and I think this one is really good, and it has some good music videos, especially Magazine is one of Lake's first like knockout successes with music videos. But I think it again struggles with that same repetitiveness of the last one.
Right.
But there's some amazing hits. There's Trouble, which it ends with that amazing you know the thing. It ends with that amazing moment at the end.
Oh, Forever and Ever. This is an awesome album.
Yeah. For me, I feel like this one is a little bit. I'd say this is an A tier maybe. Like this is not the best that Lake has to offer, but it's got some really good successes. some songs where I think Lake struggles is On a Swing, Give Back, and We Can Work It Out. I think those are some songs where it really struggles. But it does have some pretty good success, like Forever and Never. Push and Pull, Christian Comedians has one of my favorite introductions of any Lake song ever. It has just a rhythm that is, it's not Lake, but it's some amazing rock, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember a lot of these songs other than Magazine, Forever and Never, and Trouble. Oh, and Look What You Got.
Yeah. For me,
Like,
Work With What You Got is just, it didn't speak to me. It wasn't a good song. I think that's one of Lake's worst songs. Work With What You Got.
interesting. If I were to give us a position, I think it would be high D tier, personally.
I'm gonna put this in with C tier. I know I'm contravening what Romero says, but it's kind of an odd one out. It's kind of an ugly
Actually,
duck.
I'm putting it in low D tier because it's not like
It's definitely not better than Circular Doorway.
Wait, what?
It's definitely not better than Circular Doorway.
Yeah, I think below Circular Doorway puts it where it needs to be.
Okay, let's examine. Is it better than The Places We'll Go? Oh, yeah. Is it better or worse than Oh, The Places We'll Go?
I think it's better.
Me too. I think it's solidly ahead of Oh, The Places We'll Go. And yeah, so let's go back to The World Is Real. I know we went out of order a little, and the reason is I wanted to save this one for the end because this is such an amazing album, and I think this is actually my favorite album because it has so many things. It doesn't feel like Lake, but it's so good that redefines what Lake means.
You're gonna get a little mad at me, but I only have like 2 songs like in this album. I have to give it another listen.
So, I don't think there's a single bad song on this album.
Right. The top 2 songs that I have on this album that I like is Do You Recall and Go Back.
Yeah. Do You Recall is an amazing song. And I think it's a great way to start off an album because I feel it kind of calls back to the way Lake started, and it's a new sound. It's different from what they've done before. I'm going to put this in S tier. What do you think?
I personally, I think I put it in. I was first thinking high A tier, or maybe like above Higher Than Mary.
You know, I'm gonna go with it's better than Cassette. I'm a really big fan of Cassette. The World Is Real just has some standout victories that are amazing. And next we're going to go to Roundelay. Roundelay is not my favorite. It is...
Roundaway. Yeah, this one is a little weird.
Yeah. Roundelay is the only album that I think is a bad album. It is something that I wouldn't listen to under any circumstances. There's a single song that I think has any merit to it. And
Yeah.
I think it's Tell Me What Is True Love. And the problem it has, it's basically, it's the very middle of the range, like, repetitive, Circular Doorway type song. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
And some of the worst songs on this album are just unlistenable. Like, She Plays One Chord, Resolution, Don't Pray For Me, Without It, and Cup Sludge are terrible. I just can't listen to them.
Yeah, Cup Sludge is a little weird, but it being like a pretty mid song, I still have it liked. I actually counted. I have 5 songs liked in this album. But hey, hear me out. Here are the songs that I have liked in this album. I have Resolution, Don't Pray for Me, Without It, Hangman, and Cup Sludge.
I will say,
And-
Without It is a good. It's like an alright song. It is for Lake. It is bad, but compared to like the rest of all of music, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and Cup Sludge, it stands out to me because every time I hear the word sludge, I think the word like putty or something. But anyway, it stands out, but not in like a good way. But I wouldn't hear it like I would listen to it over and over again. It's just like every once in a while. But Don't Pray for Me. There was just like one time. It was like the entire week, like for 1 week. I would just remember that one main part in Don't Pray for Me. And it was like a song stuck in my head, so like I went back and I listened to it. And I think Don't Pray for Me is a pretty good song in my opinion. But the entire album itself, not that good.
Okay. Yeah, this one, solid D tier. It's the worst one.
Yeah, I put it in D tier.
Okay. And now we're going to take a look at the singles of Lake. We're going to look at No Wonder I, which is a success because, in most part, due to it was featured in several Adventure Time episodes. But I think analyzing it from a clear point of view, it's a really good song, but I feel like it's not a great Lake song. It doesn't feel Lake-like as the rest, you know?
Yeah. I think a lot of songs in Lake correspond with this one. There's just like that one clicking sound. I think it's in this song, where it's like ding 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 like that. I hear that one tune in like Madagascar or some other songs. I don't know. There's like some Lake lore going on here, but I think No Wonder I is a really good song.
Yes, I think it is. It is one of the best songs, and out of all the singles, it is the best well known. It's a really good song, and considering which album was this one in, do you remember? I think it was in The World. No, it was in Let's Build a Roof, right?
Oh, hold on. It was in Circular Doorway.
So yeah, so going along with Circular Doorway, I think this is a better song than Circular Doorway. And I think it ranks behind the first album. I think it's a really good song, but standing up to things like Helicopter in the first album, it's not as good.
Yeah,
It's really
I think
good.
I put it in low A tier.
And I feel like this is one of the most human songs on all of Lake's discography. It's the most like a normal song, I don't know, where I feel like this is the most like appealing to just everybody song. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's really good. I really like it.
Yeah. And so turning to the last one is You Are Alone. This is a single with as You Are Alone and Higher Than Mary. We looked at these along with their original albums in cassette. And I think this is a really good song, but for me, it picks out Higher Than Mary, which is my least favorite song on cassette. And actually, other than it's not a great song on cassette. Cassette is a really good album. Higher Than Mary is not a great song.
Right. You Are Alone. I'm just giving it a listen right now because I don't think I've ever actually heard it. I don't know. I think for my taste, I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's like as great as Higher Than Mary or No Wonder I, but I think it's just below, or maybe it's above Circular Doorway. I think I put it above Circular Doorway.
Yeah, I agree. Where I think that it's picking out a like bad song on that album and a good song on that album, and I think that averages out to a pretty mid point overall. And so I'll give this a higher B tier than Circular Doorway, where it's a good set of songs. It's two good songs, but it's just not. It's putting together a good song and a bad song, and that's just gonna bring down the average.
Right.
So, final considerations. What do you think?
I think we have a pretty good setup right here. I think Circular Doorway and Forever and Ever are where they need to be, and Roundelay and All the Places We'll Go definitely deserve the spots that they're in. As for S tier, these are definitely the S tier songs. Let's Build a Roof, Giving and Receiving, and Higher Than Mary, of course.
The only thing I'm kind of uncertain about now is I'm looking at Cassette, and I'm thinking, is Cassette really as good as Let's Build a Roof and The World is Real and Giving and Receiving?
You know what? Maybe you're right.
I think I'm gonna have to move this down to A tier. It's a high A tier because it just can't compare to those other songs. So I think this is a pretty good tier list, and I think this is definitely where these songs need to be at. And I think we should revisit this maybe in like 6 months when you've listened to all of the songs, and you have like a more informed view. This has been a tier list by Ben of 100K Bucks and Romero of Professional 64. A great channel with lots to appeal to, lots to give, and an amazing channel. I will be giving a link in the description and a card in the top right to his channel. Please visit and give him some love.
And thank you, Ben and 100K Box, for letting me on this tier list and in this video. It's always a great honor to pop up every once in a while. But yeah, that's it for me.